with white surrender flags.
You say the opposition is light. Is this because you have avoided a frontal confrontation with them? Are you going around or over, and is that why there's little opposition?
We're going to go around, over, through, on top, underneath. We're going to pursue them in any way it takes to get out of Kuwait. Thank you very much.
Make no mistake, we will prevail. Kuwait will soon be free, and America's men and women in uniform will return home to the thanks and respect of a grateful nation.
Monday, February 25th, Gulf time. A force consisting of 2 U.S. divisions already has advanced into Iraq. Far north of the Saudi border, the 101st Air Assault Division and the 24th Mechanized Infantry Division jump off with the rest of the team in General Schwarzkopf's Hail Mary play, a takeoff on the old offensive football strategy. Everybody goes long.
We've been sitting in the desert for almost 6 months, and there's a lot of ticked-off soldiers out there. I feel sorry for anybody who gets in our way.
Don't really want to see anybody get hurt. Wish Saddam would pull out, but if he don't, we'll just knock him back to the Stone Age.
The 101st and the 24th continue driving north toward the Euphrates River, running ahead of schedule. Resistance is light, but the weather is a problem.
I thought I'd landed in hell.
Remind me of the film footage I saw of the guys going into the rice paddies of Vietnam. There was just nothing but a sea of mud.
Many Allied troops advance in full chemical protective gear, fearful that Saddam might order a last-ditch gas attack. Troops with the 2nd Marine Division driving toward Kuwait City take no chances, even though the blustering wind could blow the gas back on the Iraqi defenders. Soon, the 101st Airborne and the 24th Mechanized barrel into the Tigris-Euphrates Valley. By now, whole battalions of Iraqi defenders are surrendering. For them, the war is ending with a bus trip and a candy bar. But for Iraqis still fighting, the worst is ahead. In a matter of hours, they will be trapped. The 24th Mechanized Division wheels to the east. Racing toward Basra in southeastern Iraq, they block or destroy all bridges and crossing points along the Euphrates River. Slowly, sluggishly, Saddam's Republican Guard begins to respond, but too late. Bridges at Basra are down. Retreat is cut off. Saddam's elite troops and indeed all his forces south of the Euphrates are surrounded.
It was in a blinding dust storm. Visibility is about 50 feet. So we came out into the open with 4 battalions online and caught them totally by surprise.
Disaster for Saddam, but for the Allies, it answers a soldier's prayer on the eve of battle.
I was asking of God simply that for success, I pray for our soldiers and all the people within our side. I also pray for the Iraqi soldiers too.
And yet, Saddam's toughest troops have not been confronted. Surrounded, the Republican Guard has avoided the taste of battle. Hardened by 8 years of war with Iran, they are veterans. Has it all been just too easy?
Tomorrow, the conclusion of the 100-hour war. Liberation, celebration, victory. When we continue our look back at the war in the Gulf. For CNN Special Reports, I'm Bernard Shaw.
At 0400 hours local this morning, coalition forces began a major ground, naval, and air offensive to eject Iraqi forces from Kuwait.
We will prevail. Kuwait will soon be free, and America's men and women in uniform will return home to the thanks and respect of a grateful nation.
Hello, I'm Bernard Shaw. After months of anxious peace talks in preparation for war, after weeks of relentless Allied pounding from the air, the mother of all battles, as Saddam Hussein called it, was nearly over. In the closing days of February 1991, Allied ground forces smashed into Kuwait faster than anyone had expected.
Saddam's most recent speech is an outrage. He is not withdrawing. His defeated forces are retreating. He is trying to claim victory in the midst of a rout. And he is not voluntarily giving up Kuwait.
Tuesday, February 26th, Gulf time. Spearheading the coalition advance, the U.S. 1st and 2nd Marine Divisions, backed by the Army's Tiger Brigade. Their mission? To liberate the capital.
It's got mines like this, the PMN. Very simple mine. The Soviets had used this in Afghanistan. 3 to 5 pounds of pressure blows your foot off.
To the south, Arabs, Egyptians, and Americans move through a network of minefields, advancing on Kuwait City.
It seems as if it's a mass retreat at this point. We were up along the front lines yesterday, about 30 miles southern Kuwait. We saw artillery fire coming at us from the Iraqi positions about half a mile away from where we were, but it was not a fierce bombardment, and the Saudi soldiers in our territory did not seem overly concerned about it.
Left of the Marines in western Kuwait, 2 Egyptian divisions and a Syrian division. To the right of the Marines, coming up the coastline, a task force of Kuwaitis. With them, their Saudi Arabian allies. Allied forces close in. The battle for Kuwait City is joined. It is not much of a battle.
The breach was going to go no matter what, and fortunately it went without any casualties.
A lot of surprise because there wasn't a whole lot of resistance, and I just kind of give that nothing but the glory of God, because this is nothing short of a miracle that we didn't run into any more than we did.
Suddenly, Saddam Hussein orders his forces in Kuwait to withdraw, but there is a problem. The order reads, "Withdraw in an orderly fashion." Response from the White House is negative.
Saddam's most recent speech is an outrage. He is not withdrawing. His defeated forces are retreating. He is trying to claim victory in the midst of a rout.
Defense Secretary Cheney spells it out. Iraqi soldiers will not be permitted to withdraw as military units. Cheney says any who try it will be treated, in his words, according to the rules of war. In other words, they will be pounded. Allied warplanes catch retreating Iraqis in a massive traffic jam. They bomb them north of Kuwait City on the road to Basra. More than 1,500 vehicles are smashed and burned, including tanks, trucks, private cars, and even ambulances. In the aftermath, some of the Gulf War's most terrible scenes of destruction. Hours later, victory in Kuwait City. By morning, Marines have regained control of the U.S. Embassy.
President Bush has announced that Allied combat operations are being suspended as of now.
It's a good day. Great day.
Mr. Bush had little to say about his plans for the day.
It's over.
The scene is somber. Rubble, fires. But the sun will rise on a day of celebration.
You took a stand for all we stand for. You gave your hand when it was asked for. Oh, you are the ones who lifted us. You are the ones who kept the trust. You're the ones whose gift we must recall. We hear the children singing now for every hero. Sing it loud. We wanna thank you. Yes, we wanna
As far as Saddam Hussein being a great military strategist, he is neither a strategist, nor is he schooled in the operational art, nor is he a tactician, nor is he a general, nor is he as a soldier. Other than that, he's a great military man. I want you to know that.
Wednesday, February 27th, Gulf time. In Kuwait City, jubilant citizens raise their flag over the central square. Almost everywhere, victory is evident.
We're free, man. We're free.
It is a celebration of survival, of freedom, of peace. Kuwaiti soldiers offer prayers of thanks, but the fighting is not over. Pockets of resistance are still being cleaned out by Kuwaiti Special Forces.
They did not have time to run, and when they were withdrawn, they kind of ran into each other across the road somewhere. Their vehicles were shot up. They met up, they tried to look up for an empty house, and that's where they went into an empty house, and they took it over, and they just started to survive and try to ride this on through, but it didn't last long, and obviously this is what's happening now.
We lost our freedom the day he walked in this country, and we've been living in fear. Each family either has one member that's been tortured, one has been killed, especially in the past week, and they started rounding out people from all the areas here, around here, knocking at doors, walking into houses. They still have one of the, or two of their family that are still either in Baghdad. They don't know what happened to them, whether they've been killed.
As Kuwaitis recall the Iraqi invasion of last August, this day of liberation is laced with bad memories.
I know a friend of mine, she was killed. I don't know what, terrible. They wrote her name on a piece of paper, and they brought a pen, put the name on her skin with the pen.
They pinned her name onto her body?
And on the skin, yeah, on her body.
And killed her?
Yeah.
There was some burns in the eyes, in the white ones, okay? And, you know, 2 shots, we think that it is 2 shots here, okay, in the front of the head. And he was without nails for, you know, his hands and his feet.
And there are stories of Iraqi soldiers in panic, struggling to escape.
I haven't heard such traffic jams and hooting of horns since before the occupation. They were really bumper to bumper, getting the hell out of here. And we saw their helmets thrown in the street today and things that they had stolen, that they had left behind, just to get out of here as fast as they could.
Shortly before noon, U.S. Marines shoot it out with Iraqis attempting to hold Kuwait Airport. The Marines win. North of Kuwait, the Republican Guard is looking for an escape route to Baghdad. Their only chance is the land bridge at Nasiriyah to the west, nearly 160 miles away. They never make it. Just 50 miles west of Basra, the 7th Corps cuts them off. Apache helicopters and Warthog aircraft join American tanks in a battle with tanks of the Republican Guard. The Iraqi tanks are outnumbered and outgunned. Allied firepower destroys more than 500 enemy tanks. The Republican Guard is smashed. For Saddam's finest, it is worse than defeat. It is a rout. Saddam Hussein would claim victory, but the war's reality is inescapable. Nothing was left in Kuwait but stragglers and shattered equipment. Very soon, President Bush would have a decision to make.
7 months ago, America and the world drew a line in the sand. We declared that the aggression against Kuwait would not stand. And tonight, America and the world have kept their word.
Thursday morning, February 28th, Gulf time. President Bush is reviewing reports from the battlefront. The 7th Corps is mopping up after its clash with the Republican Guard. The Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff predict victory within hours. Today is the day. Throughout Kuwait and in southern Iraq, there is no question Saddam is defeated. President Bush decides to declare a conditional ceasefire. Allied guns will stop firing at midnight for the first time in 100 hours.
Kuwait is liberated. Iraq's army is defeated. Our military objectives are met. Kuwait is once more in the hands of Kuwaitis in control of their own destiny. We share in their joy, a joy tempered only by our compassion for their ordeal.
The Gulf War is a stunning victory, and yet, somehow, it does not equate with the clean-cut victory of World War II. This victory is not complete. To reporters, the president's manner seems strangely subdued.
I know these are serious topics, but I'm struck by how somber you feel. You seem, at least here. And I was wondering, aren't these great days? Is this the highlight of your life?
Well, you know, to be very honest with you, I haven't yet felt this wonderfully euphoric feeling that many of the American people feel. And I'm beginning to. I feel much better about it today than I did yesterday. But I think it's that I want to see an end.
Diplomats at the United Nations still have work to do. Spurred on by the United States, the UN Security Council will approve a new resolution requiring Iraq to renounce any claim to Kuwait, to return stolen property, and to release all prisoners of war. All 12 of the UN's previous resolutions regarding the invasion are reaffirmed as well, including authorization of the use of force against Iraq. But Saddam Hussein is still in power. Are terms of the temporary ceasefire too lenient? Has a permanent peace been achieved? Or is the world merely witnessing another fragile truce in the violent and unpredictable Middle East? For now, these questions are lost in the celebration of victory.